Kiran Bedi, thank you so much for your time, ma'am. What do you make of this? 4 days, this guy has been on the run, went to Delhi, went to various other places, finally arrested from Kanpur, but this case is diluted completely. No alcohol test was done on him. To begin with, his name never even appeared in the FIR until the time we put the focus on this matter, ma'am.
Oh, I wish you had heard Vikram Puli.
Yes.
Because Vikram would have was explaining to you very well
Yes.
On his own. But it's better to revert to him again after I give you my views.
Sure, of course.
But my view is that the rule and the training is that when such an incident happens and right there, you have the car, you have the driver, you have the eyewitnesses, you have the accompanying people, I think take into account immediately. Don't delay it, because the immediate medical evidence will either indict him or provide the right evidence, or it will inculcate and means he can escape. But 4 days being after, I think now the pressure is on him and the lawyers, very expensive lawyers, of course, affordable lawyers. Now it's pressure on them that he was not drunk or he had epileptic decay, as I've read in the newspapers. So I think the earlier it is given, the rule for the SHO is he does not need any concurrence or approvals. That's the SOP, that's the law, and that's the training. Where an accident like this happens or an incident like this happens, and it's right there. The evidence is there, the car is there, the driver is there, the witnesses are there, the company does. Why delay? And send him immediately for medical evidence.
Yes.
That becomes either a defense or an accusation. But now, medical evidence after 4 days will have to be now forensically now judged whether after 4 days his blood sample or his urine sample indicates that there was a possibility or there were traces. Then now the traces could have been linked with the medicine he was taking or otherwise. You see? So it becomes expensive trial.
Yes. You know, Kiran Bedi, I also want to ask you, the father from day one, actually, the bouncers first said that, this was some sort of a seizure. Even bizarrely, they said a mini heart attack. Literally a mini heart attack is the word that they use. I want to ask you, in cases like this, if at all, even for a moment, we were to consider that indeed there was a medical problem with the driver and that's why this crash happened. Thankfully, nobody was grievously injured and nobody has died here. Thankfully. Does that give some relief to the accused in this matter, if at all it's a medical emergency?
Only at that time what the medical evidence revealed is or is not. So either it will confirm or it will deny. So I think that is where it would have gone in his favor. If he had submitted himself to medical evidence and said, or his bodyguards had asked him, after all, Kanpur had medical evidence, medical attention. So why not? I think they went wrong. That's where the bouncers ought to have actually handed him over to the police. And why handed over? Rush him to a Kanpur nursing home. It would have been right away available. Why fly him out on a medical emergency all the way to Delhi? So I think it goes against it, and the courts will take I don't think a sympathetic view. I think the courts will go. The lawyers will have to do some difficult arguments to get him out.
So, tell us, in this case, the father has been making statements that there was a driver called Mohan behind the wheel and not his son. In that sense, to derail the investigation, will there be, is there a possibility of charges being pressed against those also who try to derail the investigation in that sense?
Only if there's a direct evidence of having washed away the evidence. But he is obviously a father, being a father, is saying what he believes. He believes, but it may not be the right thing. So the father is performing his duty as a father, but it's up to the court to assess whether he was misleading, the court and the police and the investigation, and that why did he rush the son to Delhi? Why did he not send him to a Kanpur medical assistance right away? So I think there are many questions which now the father will have to answer.
I'm going to thank you for joining in and sharing your views with us.